a huge wave came and crushed me all the way into the ocean. When I was under the water, I opened my eyes and I see a black shadow coming my way. I thought it was a shark. I was like, oh my God, shark. So I covered my face, just waiting for the bite. And this thing was coming super fast. And when I was just waiting for the bite,
Hello, welcome to Enlighten Me. I'm Katie. This is my brother Adrian, and we are visiting with Carlos Vivas today. Welcome, Carlos.
hello, good morning. Thank you for having me in your show. I'm really grateful.
We're so excited to talk to you, and we just want to get started and hear your story. And you can start wherever you'd like.
All right. For people that don't know me, my name is Carlos Vivas. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm going to go straight to my story. So, when I was 14 years old, one day I started feeling really bad. I didn't know what it was. I didn't want to say anything to my parents. I was raised in a Catholic school, so it was very strict. And anything that you trying to do not go to class, it was really bad. So I started feeling bad, and I said, like, if I tell my mom that I feel bad, she's gonna say that I'm making it up. I don't want to go to school, so I'm just gonna swallow this. I'm gonna try to hold it. Weeks start passing by, and I start feeling worse and worse. I was like, oh my God, what is this? And one day I was at the bus stop waiting for my bus to go to school, and I have a blackout. It never happened to me. I didn't know that exists, but everything just vanished in front of me. I stand up from the floor, and I was like, oh my God, something really bad is going on. I don't know what it is. Tonight I'm gonna have to speak with my mom. So I have the courage that not to go to my mom when she came back from work, and I said, okay. And I did this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mom, I need to talk to you because I was scared to tell them something. And she asked me, okay, what's going on? I said, Mom, something really bad is happening. I'm feeling really bad. I feel like dizzy all the times. I have a blackout on the bus stop. So I need your help. I need to go to a doctor. So my mom said, okay, let's just start calling doctors. Let's start going to your primary doctor. So I went to my primary doctor, and he said, look, I cannot tell you what it is because I'm not sure. You need to go to a specialist. But anyways, we went through doctors, like 10 different doctors. To make the story short, the last doctor wasn't a specialist on hematology. So it wasn't a hematologist. So I get to his office, and when we get there, he have two offices full of diplomas from all over the world. He was a scientific guy that he was studying everything about blood. And that's why every of the 9 doctors before him was recommending him because he said he is the best on this. And then he said, okay, let me take blood samples. So he took blood samples from my finger, from my arm. And then he was coming back from laboratories like, this doesn't convince me. I'm going to do the last one. It's in your bag. I said, okay. I didn't throw anything wrong, right? And then he sent me to he said, go to my office, take your shirt off. I'm going to put 5 shots in your bag. At that point, I have a little cold, so I thought maybe he's putting shot for the cold. I was 14 years old, and those shots were anesthesia that he put in my back. And then he said, lay down on the bed that I have in my little office, and I'm gonna call 2 nurses. They're gonna be with me, and we're gonna practice something in your back. And that's gonna be quick. I'm gonna be talking. Just relax and just wait for this to get done. So I was in the little bed. Then I heard a drill, like the dentist. He started drilling my back. I was like, oh Lord. And then he finished. He put a little bit of alcohol in my bag, and he put a band-aid. I said, okay, it's done. Go to with your parents, and I'll be back. I said, okay. So 45 minutes later, because he have to go to laboratory and get the test and all that, he come back and he said, Carlos, I need to talk to you, your mom and your dad. I have some news to tell you. So we entered into his office, and I'm standing in the background. My mom is sitting, my dad is sitting there in the desk, and the doctor is in front of them. And the doctor looked at me and he said, Carlos, I have the final results. So he come with a glass with a little bit of water inside and something like a cotton. I said, this is your biopsy of the bone marrow. That's what we did right there. When I was drilling, I was going straight to your bone marrow to get a sample to see what your blood was happening to you. And in that moment, he said, I'm sorry, but you have something that is a terminal illness. It's called leukemia. And he looked at me and said, I'm sorry, but you have 3 months. I said, 3 months? 3 months for what? I said, 3 months to live. I said, what? I said, yeah, I'm sorry, but you guys came too late with me. It It shouldn't be happening at your age, but there is nothing else I can do. So my mom started crying, my dad started crying. I felt, oh my God, what's going on? In that moment, inside of me, I heard for the first time in my life a voice that said, he don't have the last word, I have. And I was like, oh my God, what was that? But I wasn't afraid of the voice. I wasn't afraid to tell to my mom and thinking that she's going to make, that I'm making this up. I didn't say anything. I just keep it for myself. And then my mom grabbed the doctor and she started crying. And the doctor, you have to save my son, please. And then the doctor said, okay, lady, sit down. I'm going to give you two options. Number one option is flying to Houston, Texas, and do a bone marrow transplant. Houston is the number one around the world doing this transplant, and this is the best we can do. And my mom said, okay, are you sure that's going to save my son? And the doctor said, that's the best that we can do. My mom said, how much is going to cost? And the doctor said, that's a very expensive surgery. Maybe you're going to have to sell your house, your cars, and everything you have in order to pay for that. Then my mom said, okay, I don't like that option. What is the second option? The second option is going to France, to Paris, France. I'm working with another doctors with a formula that can impact the bone marrow and make it work again. But I don't know. It's a kind of experiment. So your son is going to be trying this experiment. If you want that, and my mom say, okay, I like that one. How much it's gonna cost? It's gonna no, it's not gonna be like the other one. You don't have to sell your house or your cars, but at least you're doing something for your son. So my mom used to work at the Air Force. So one of her colleagues go to France, bring the formula. I start taking the formula, and a month passed, and then the doctor called me back to his office, the doctor office. Said, okay, Carlos, let's check it out. Let's me take blood tests and check everything. And then he come back from the laboratory and tell my mom, sorry, it's not working the way that I was expecting. And then my mom said, oh my God, doctor, like, so she started crying. I feel bad. And the doctor said, you know what? Let's finish the treatment. It's 2 more months for the treatment, so 3 months complete. And then we see the result at the end. We go back home. I still getting the treatment. I feel bad seeing my mom and my dad crying all the time. And then one day I was by myself because they were working, was by myself at home. And I started thinking to myself, wait a minute, I'm in a Catholic school and they told me there is a God. If you ask from your heart, from the center of your heart, if you mean it, you ask for help. You say, God, help me, save me from this. And in that moment, I stand up and say, okay, God, you know what? Let's do a deal right here. What about if you save me from this cancer and I tell the whole world that you're real because you're going to save me? I'm the living proof. And in that moment, I start feeling heat all over my body. And I said, you know what? This is what it is that I'm gonna do, and it feels good. So from that day, I start praying. From that day, I start saying thank you to God for my healing. From that day, I start doing something that I don't know, it just came out to me, doing visualizations, feeling that all my organs were getting restored and my blood it was getting restored and cleansed, and all my cells in my body, and feeling love to all my body. And from that day, that's what I did for the rest of the 2 months. Just pray every day and do visualizations. So the third month come out, the doctor call us back. We go to the hospital. I say, okay, we're gonna do the CT scan. The CT scan is the bridge that you lay down and they take X-rays of all your body. And then he said, okay, let's see the results. So when I come out of the CT scan, the doctor looks the paperwork and said, I don't know what to say, but the cancer disappeared. So in that moment, my mom said, oh my God, doctor, this is amazing. This is a miracle. And the doctor looked at her and was like, no, lady, the miracle doesn't exist. And my mom goes, yeah, the cancer disappeared. I said, like, no, this is called remission. Remission is when you induce chemically a person with a lot of substances and then you erase the cancer, but then come back more aggressive. And in that moment, I heard inside of me, this will never happen again. And when that happened, my mom said, like, no, doctor, this is a miracle. And let me tell you, from that moment, I never had anything again. The cancer was completely disappearing from my body. And I never suffering anything in my life. I never had surgery, nothing in my life. So that was my first story. And that's how everything started. And remember what I said to God, right? I'm going to tell the whole world that you exist because I'm going to be a living proof. Guess what? Let's move time 20 years later. So I go with my friends to Panama City Beach here in Florida. I live in Georgia, so it's 5, 6 hours driving from Georgia to Panama City. And when we get there, it was Memorial Day. All the places were packed. The beach was packed with people. We went to 3 parking lots. Everything was packed. And one of my friends said, "You know what, Carlos, we're going to find anything. Like, what are we going to do now?" And I said, "You know what? I know a place that is not going to be this packed. It's an island in the middle of the ocean. So you have to pay for a boat to take you there, a catamaran." I said, "Okay, let's go there." So I'm going to the first marina that I know, that I always go to this island. And when we arrived to the marina was closed for renovation. I was like, this is weird. It's Memorial Day, is supposed to be open. Anyways, let's go to another marina. Second marina closed. Third marina closed. And I was like, I don't know what's going on today. All those closing marinas was red flags. So in this moment, I was a very skeptic person. I didn't believe in red flags. So I have those 3 red flags, right? So in that moment, I said, okay, let me look for a place to find another way to go to the island because these 3 marinas are closed. So I grabbed my phone, my work phone. I have my work phone and my personal phone. My work phone, when I start looking, it said, "I'm sorry, you don't have permission to navigate on internet today." I was like, what? I get my other phone, 2 different carriers, same message. "You don't have permission to navigate on internet today." 2 red flags here again. And I said, "Guys, my phones are not working. Look, so can you guys look in your phone?" So one of my friends like, "Hey, yeah, I found a park. It's called San Andreas State Park. Let's go there. They have a marina there. It's open right now." So we drove there and we enter into the park, pay $8, go to the big parking lot, park our cars, bring everything. We were 7 people. We bringing chairs, canopies, food, drinks, everything. So from the park, you have to get a bus that's gonna take you to a marina. So we get the bus. When we're boarding the bus, one of my friends said, "Carlos, I need to go to the bathroom. He have a surgery, so he have to go several times to the bathroom. But he's, let me stop right here. Is any bathroom at the island?" He's like, "Nope. So you better go here." So we go to the bathroom. We get inside of the bus. There are like, I don't know, 40 people in this bus. It's like a school bus. And we're waiting and waiting 5, 10 minutes. He don't show up. And I said to his dad, "Hey, could you see what's going on with your son? Everybody's getting mad here because he don't show up." So his dad goes back to the bathroom. Guess what? Somebody put a lock on the bathroom. So he was locked. He was yelling inside of the bathroom, "Get me out of here. Get me out of here." I don't know. That's number 6 red flag. I didn't listen. And then we have to get the janitor. He get the keys and he get it out. He said, "I don't know how this happened. I don't know who put the lock here, whatever." So we get into the bus, take us to the marina. From the marina, we go into the boat, huge boat. And then we go into the ocean, 20, 30 minutes to arrive to the island. When we arrived to the island, it was a sunny day, blue waters, crystal beautiful waters. And when we arrived to the base side of the island, it was packed with people too. And my friends, "Carlos, look again, all these people." I said, "Yeah, I never thought it's gonna be like this. It's $20 per person. It's okay. Let's do something. Let's walk around the island." So the boat led us there, the base side of the island, and then we start going around the island. And then when I'm half away to go to the backside of the island, there is a guy with 5 kids and says, "Excuse me, sir, excuse me." I said, "Are you talking to me?" I said, "Yes, I'm talking to you." "Yes, sir. How can I help you?" I said, "Where do you think you're going?" I said, "I'm going to the other side of the island. That's very dangerous. The side of the island you want to go is open oceans. So there is no protection there. This high have rocks that protect the marina, the bayside." I said, "Sir, I've been coming here for 10 years. Nothing's going to happen. Don't worry." That's number 7 or 8 red flag, right? Anyways, I continued going to the back of the island. And then when we arrived to the back, there was nobody there. So I said to my friend, "Okay, let's set up the canopy here." So we're trying to open the canopy, and then the wind started blowing really hard. And then for 45 minutes, we're fighting with the wind to put this down, but the canopy was open like a parachute. And we're trying to put it down and nothing until one of my friends brings some rocks and said, "Let's put rocks in every corner." So we put that there and we stayed there from 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. And we have an amazing day the whole day there. And around 4, my friend said, "Carlos, we're gonna walk around the island because the island is gonna close at 5:30." I said, "You guys have 1 hour to go around the island and go back here by 5, so we take everything and go back to the boats." Okay, cool. So they left. I was by myself. And in that moment, I started feeling really hot. The sun was really spicy that day. And I said to myself, I'm just going to jump and swim a little bit. The water looks perfect. And I jump into the water. I'm not afraid to swim because when I was a kid, my mom had me on swimming classes and I used to compete with another school. So I, I didn't have anything to fear with water. So I got into the water. When I started walking, I felt holes on the sand. I didn't know what these holes were, but it was weird because I never see that before. I started walking more deep so the water could cover me to right here. And then I started feeling something that started pulling me back from my feet back. And I was like, what is this? So I tried to go to the front of the island and then something is still pulling me back. And then out of the blue, poof. And if you see the movie Finding Nemo, you can see something's called Australian current. Here is called near a Riptide current. So what I felt was a whirlpool of water, like a tunnel, grabbing me and sucking me and throwing me far away into the ocean. When I opened my eyes after this stop, I was like half a mile away from the island. I was like, how in the world are I here? So the tunnel brought me all the way back there. So I said, okay, I'm not gonna panic. I'm just gonna swim back. So I start swimming back. And then I pull my head out of the water. I'm still in the same point. Why? Because the island was like this small. And I was like, I didn't move. Let me swim again. So I tried to swim, 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 get out, same point. I was like, what's going on? It was the riptide. I was in the center of the riptide and it was pulling me back and back. After 25, 30 minutes fighting and fighting, there was no way, no point. The time was getting close for the island to close. So everybody's going to get out of there. Nobody was watching. And I thought to myself, this is the perfect moment to die. And I said, nobody's going to save me from this. I think this is it. So before I die, so I look heaven and say, okay, God, you got me today. I never in a million years thought that today is going to be my last day. But if you want to take me, I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for my mom, my dad, my brothers, my sisters. Thank you for everything you gave me. And I'm sorry if I did something wrong. As soon as I said that, I heard a voice behind me. And this voice said, ask for help. I was like, what? Very soft voice. I was like, what? This is my imagination. And I tried to swim again. And then I heard, ask for help. And I look everywhere. I was like, are you kidding me? Could you please help me? I'm dying right now. Could you help me, please? Nothing. Just the wind and the air, right? And the water. Trying to swim again. And then I heard for the third time, I told you to ask for help. And I was like, oh my God, don't you see that it's impossible? Nobody's going to see me. I'm going to lose all my energy trying to scream here. I'm going to just die. Okay, I'll do it. So I started screaming help. At the end of the island, one of my friends, Enrique from Mexico, he said he felt something was wrong. So he came out of the group and he ran back again to the canopy. And he didn't saw me there. He went to the beach. He didn't saw me there. So he started looking me everywhere. And he went back to the top of a hill and he saw me from the top of the hill. And then he started screaming, Carlos, here, look, I'm going to call 911. He didn't call 911. He went back to the tank, grabbed some tubings, went back to the top, and he threw the tubings from the top. But guess what? I was half a mile away and the wind was against him. So every time that he was dropping those tubing, it was flying back to him. It's like, oh my God, this is not working. Hold on, Carlos, hold on. Let me run and find people. So he ran to the other side of the island with people was boarding the boats going back to Panama City. And he called everybody. So a bunch of people come. 6 guys jump from the rocks. Everybody's swimming my way. I was like, oh my God, thank you, God, they're going to save me. Guess what? 10 minutes passed. Nobody can get me yet because the ocean is still sucking me in. And then I hear a thunder behind me. And then I look back and the sky is turning black and lightning behind. And then I see everybody in front of me start turning around. Why? Because nobody's going to die for somebody that they don't know. And this thunder starts coming behind me. So people give up on me. And in that moment, I said, okay, God, if they don't want to save me, I guess this is it. So in that moment, I said, I'm surrendered. From this moment, I'm not going to fight anymore. And every time in this point, I always said, how many times in your life you're fighting with cancer, with your spouse, with your kids, with your work, and the only thing that you have to do is surrender. And that's what I did in that moment. I surrendered. I said, God, just do what you have to do, you know? And in that moment, a huge wave came and crushed me all the way into the ocean. When I was under the water, I opened my eyes and I see a black shadow coming my way. I thought it was a shark. I was like, oh my God, shark. So I covered my face, just waiting for the bite. And this thing was coming super fast. And when I was just waiting for the bite, this thing grabbed me by my stomach and pushed me all the way up. Guess what it was? Yeah, it was a dolphin.
Wow.
And yeah, I couldn't believe it. So the dolphin just stayed in front of me. I stared at him. And in that moment was a connection. When the dolphin was looking at me, is when you see a dog into their eyes or you see a cat into their eyes and they have feelings. So immediately we connect. I start crying. He was like, come on, get in. So I just grabbed the dolphin by the fin and I stayed there and I just crying. Like, I cannot believe like a dolphin saved me. And I was looking at him and he was looking at me. And I was just asking, like, how do you know that I'm dying? How do you know that why are you doing this? Like, I couldn't understand. I stayed there for 10 minutes. He didn't move. He just was there for me to float with him. And 10 minutes later, a feature boat showed up and he was like 20 feet away from me. I said, like, son, I can save you, but I cannot get close to you. Why? Because if I get close to you, because of the raining and the thunderstorm, I'm going to hit you with my boat. I'm going to throw you a rope. So he threw me a rope. I went with the rope to the boat. The dolphin was next to me. When I get to the boat was tall. So I just grab the rope and I just get somewhere. Oh my God. So the guy started screaming, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I said, like, sir, I've been here for an hour. I'm super tired. Could you please let me just breathe? I said, like, no, you don't understand. You need to get in right now. I said, like, why? I said, my body's sinking. I said, your body's sinking. What are you talking about? I said, yeah, I have a pump in my boat and the pump is stopped. So all the water from the thunderstorm is coming inside of my boat and it's getting floated. So hurry up, go to the back. There's some steps into the water and just jump in and get inside of the boat. So I see the steps in the back of the boat. I jump inside of the boat. And when I get in, the water was like this. And I was like, sir, do you have any bucket? I take the water. I said, we don't have time for that. Sit down next to me. So I sit down next to him. And then he started asking me, are you okay? What happened? I said, like, sir, I don't know. I was just swimming and this whirlpool came and pulled me out all the way here. I was trying to come back, but he didn't let me go back, come back to the shore. I said, like, okay, it's okay. Don't worry. You're fine. Where is your family and friends? Everybody is there waiting for me. Let me ask you this question. Where you from? I said, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. What about you, sir? I said, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia too, and we're in Florida. I said, like, yeah, that's weird. Where do you live? I said, like, I live in Duluth. What about you? I live in Norcross. Duluth and Norcross is next to each other. So we're neighbors. I was like, this is crazy, right? And then the guy said, oh my God, look behind you. I said, what? Because I'm talking to him like this. And then he's looking behind me. I said, what are you talking about? He said, look. So when I look back, the dolphin start following the boat all the way around the island. So when we get to the bay side of the island, the guy said, okay, son, I have to leave you right here because I need to fix my boat. But if you want to see me again, every Memorial Day, I'm going to come here. So if you want, just come and you can meet me here. So I give it a hug and say, thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you for saving my life. I jump off the boat. He leaves. I start walking to the shore. Nobody was in the shore because everybody was in the other side of the island looking for me. And then when I'm walking, something hit my leg. And when I look back, the dolphin was behind me. And I look at the dolphin, I start crying again. Oh my God, where is this dolphin? So when I get to the shore, I go on my knees and I said, you know what, God, this is it for me. I'm going to tell you something today. Today is Carlos dying to the ocean. The person who's coming out of the water is not Carlos anymore. From today, it's going to be you. You want Carlos, you want this body, get in and do whatever you have to do through me. I give you my life, I give you my soul, I give you everything I have because this is it for me. If you save me with this dolphin, you have a purpose for my life. I don't know what is the purpose, but I'm telling you, take over and do it. And from that moment, start raining, thundering, lightning, and raining all over me. So I took that as a yes. As soon as it happened, people coming from the other side of the island, the police come, everybody start hugging me, and everybody start crying. They take me back in the boat to the national park. Then I have an interview with the managers and what happened and all that. After that, my friends asked me, like, what do you want to do now? I need to go to a church. I need to give thanks to God because this was a miracle and I really need to go. We get out of the national park, and the first church that was like around the corner was a Catholic church. I call it Fatima because they have a Fatima statue at the entrance. And then when you go inside, we tried to get inside of the church, but the church, I don't know what time it was, like 7. It was getting dark. And the church was closed, but outside was a chapel in a garden. So my friends said, look, let's go to the garden and pray in the garden next to the chapel. And my friends that came from the island, and a lot of people that was there came with us. So we did a huge circle in the garden. We hugged each other and we start praying there. And after we pray, we went back to the hotel that I stayed. And then I said to my friends, let me get something to eat. Let me get a shower and I go to sleep. So I did that. And when I was trying to go to bed, I just put my head on my pillow and I have an epiphany. I didn't know what epiphany was. It was like a vision. And in that vision, I open my eyes. I'm on the third floor of a cruise in the Caribbean. I'm grabbing the handrails, looking in front of me, blue ocean, blue skies. And at the end of the ocean, I see something rising. I was like, what is that? And then I realized it's a tsunami. So the tsunami is coming my way. I was like, oh my God, tsunami, I'm going to die. So I covered my face. I was like, oh, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. And 5, 10 minutes pass. And then somebody come behind me and is like, hey, look at me. I said, no, we're about to die. Look, the tsunami is going to hit us. I said, hey, look at me. He said, no, you don't understand. Look at me. I'm like, oh my God. So when I look back, what I saw was a tall guy. He was like 6'5" with a white robe. He was bright. I couldn't see his face. It was light coming from his face. And he said, Carlos, close your eyes. So I closed my eyes and he hugged me from behind. 10 seconds later, he said, open your eyes, please. I opened my eyes. He opened his arms and he said, welcome. And when I looked in front of me, I was in heaven. I was like, what? This mean that I die? And I look back and I said, oh my God, you're Jesus. I'm like, Jesus, you need to take me back right now. I cannot die right now. I have a lot to do. Like, I need to say something to my mom, my dad. I cannot go like this. You kidding me? No. I said, Carlos, come down. You're not dead right now. You're in the middle. And you make a promise to me. And you need to fulfill your promise. From this moment, you're walking with me and walking with all of them. And when he said all of them, millions of people show up in front of me, dressing white robes and glowing. And then he said, from today, you're part of me and part of them. Do you have any questions? I said, yeah, I have a question. Where all these people came from? And he said, they're coming from all over the world. Do you have another questions? I said, yes, there is 50,000 religions all over the world. I was exaggerating, but I just was asking, what is the true religion? Everybody claims that their religion is the best. I just want to know, what is the true religion? And he said, the only thing that I can tell you is when you come to heaven, there is no religions here. When you come to heaven, the only thing that you're going to find is love. Love is the most powerful force in the universe. And that's when it's going to unite the whole humanity in one. And now he put his arms over me. Let me give you a live review. And on this live review, he played a movie in front of me. It was like a computer with a lot of scenes going since I was a baby until right now. And then I could see there every moment in my life that was very important. But what was more important of this live review is that, look, every time and every human do the same thing. When we treat bad somebody else, we don't feel that our words cause really damage in the other person. So I'm going to put you on the other side. So you're going to feel in your heart when you are doing that to another person, how the other person get affected and how it hurt in the other person. So I felt that. And I was like, oh my God. So yes, when you come back, you have to have more compassion for people. Everybody's struggling here on earth. You don't know what people is going through. Everybody's carrying their own cross, but you don't know. Everybody have a smile in their face, but you don't know really what's going on. So you have to be very compassionate with everybody. I said, okay. So after that finished, he put my hands on my back and said, okay, now you need to go back and tell everybody what happened here. I said, okay, I will. Next morning, I wake up and say, like, wow, what a dream. That Sunday, we wake up and we drove to Atlanta. On Monday, go back to work. I've been working in a company for 20 years. I get in my office. There are three managers. I'm a manager too. I said, guys, guess what happened this weekend? I went to the beach and I was drowning by a riptide and this dolphin came and saved me. And they were like, yeah, right. I said, oh, you guys don't believe me. And then behind me, I heard a voice that said, I believe you. And I looked back and said, who's that? And there's my boss and said, why you believe me and they don't believe me? I said, all of them, they're atheists. I'm a Christian. Number two, I want you to go on your computer and Google how many people die in Florida and in the United States every year. And I Google it, and guess what? Approximately 114 people die every year by riptides. And guess what? The beach that I was drowning this month was named the most dangerous beach in America. You can Google
Wow.
it. Panama City Beach right now, I think last month like 11 people died. It's the most dangerous beach in America. I was like, wow. Now Google how many dolphins get killed every year. So I Googled 100,000 dolphins get killed. It's like, oh my God. Now Google how many dolphins have saved humans through history. And then a lot of stories came, like, wow, hundreds of people. Now Google, what is the meaning of the dolphins for Christians? And I Google, what is the meaning of the dolphin? And I tell you to do it. So you think I'm not making it up. The dolphin represents Jesus. I was like, what? And then he said, yeah, if you trace in back time, the little fish that people put in the back of their car, that used to be a dolphin, but then they put it the fish now. But since thousands of years ago, the dolphin, because he's kind, because he's safe, he rescued people, he was comparison with Jesus. And that's why they make the analogy, Jesus of the dolphin is the same. I was like, wow, okay, cool. So that happened on Monday. On Wednesday, my boss said, I need you to go to a customer. One of my employees broke a lamp and you need to fix it or buy a new one. So I go to downtown Atlanta, go to this house from 1970, knock the door. A 70 years old lady opened the door. Carlos, come on, let me show you. Look, I'm cooking right now some pasta, but you do me a favor and go to the basement, walk to the last room, turn the lights, and you're gonna see the lamp at the end of the basement. It's a gold lamp. I said, sure. So I go down by myself to the basement. I walk all the way to a hallway to go to the last room. And when I turn the light, I see the lamp on a corner, but next to the lamp was a huge painting. Guess what it was? All the scene in heaven where I was with Jesus was painting in the wall. And I start crying. I was like, what? So this means this wasn't a dream. So this is a clue for me to know that was real. So I start crying because it was really overwhelming to see the same scene that I saw in heaven was painting on the wall. Jesus was standing in front of millions of people. And at the bottom of Jesus, he was like touching the ocean in heaven. And around Jesus were dolphins around him. The customer listened to me, Carlos, are you okay? You fell. Where? So she comes downstairs and says, man, where in the world you get this painting from? I was there with Jesus 3 days ago, and now you have it right here in your basement. Wow. So she said, 3 years ago, a friend of my family brought a big canvas and he started doing the painting. And this is a gift for my family. But the canvas is so big that we don't have a space in my house. That's why we put it in the basement. But let me turn the lights and you can watch. So she turned the lights and I saw exactly what I saw in heaven was exactly in that painting. That happened on Wednesday. On Thursday, I called my best friend. I told him, his name is Alejandro. Alejandro, let me tell you what happened to me. So I tell him, he said, Carlos, you need to go to church. This is a testimony. You need to tell people what's going on. You need to tell people that is losing faith in God what happened to you. I was like, are you kidding me? You want me to tell people that I was saved by a dolphin? You know how many haters are out there? And you know how many Christian fanatics are going to say that's a lie and blah, blah, blah. I will never tell this story to nobody. I was like, Carlos, come on, please just do it for me. So he was 1 hour on the phone, like begging me for me to tell the story. And just for him to come down and say, okay, bro, I go to the church and I tell this testimony, okay? So I travel from my house to his house. I live in Duluth. He lives in Woodstock. It's an hour driving. So when I get to his house, we get breakfast with his wife, and then we go to look for a church. And he said, what church you want to go? I said, it doesn't matter because Jesus told me it's all about love. So it doesn't matter what religion is. Okay, let's go. So the first church that we found was called St. Michael the Archangel. So when we arrived there, we parked our cars. There was hundreds of cars in the parking lot. There was a big celebration, music, balloons everywhere. And I said, what's going on here? So I asked a lady next to me, excuse me, ma'am, what's going on here today? So this used to be a little church, but today we're inaugurating this huge cathedral. And you guys just came in for the inauguration. I said, oh, wow, okay, cool. So we see the whole presentation of the church and the whole party. My friend said, let's speak with the priest, ask permission for you to tell the testimony. When we spoke with the priest, he said, okay, at the end of the service, you can tell your testimony. So the end of the service arrived. So I go for the first time to tell my story. I went shaking, I was sweating, I was super nervous because this is the first time that I'm going to say this. I don't know how people are going to react. And I'm standing there shaking, start telling my story. And half away my story, a 17 years old raised her hand and says, excuse me, sir, I want to interrupt your story. I was like, what? Okay. Yes. So why? I said, I need to ask you a question. I said, sure. How Jesus was with you? I said, he was behind me. Okay. What was dressed in a white robe? What he was doing? He was hugging me from behind. Why? And she said, "You have to see this." This girl was very skinny girl, white girl, with a black long hair. And she said, "Watch this." So she grabbed the hair, put the hair inside of her, and she turned around. When she turned around, she had a painting on the back of the t-shirt. Guess what the painting was? This one right here. So you can see. And I was, yep, it was exactly like that.
Wow.
So this painting was made by Thomas Blackshare. His name is called Forgiveness. And I was like, yep, it was like that. And that's how my story ends. When I was in heaven and before Jesus pushed my back to go back to earth, he said, "Carlos, before you go, I need a message that you give to humanity." I said, "What is it?" I said, "I need you to tell everybody more than 98% of people have childhood trauma and they need to heal. And the only thing that's going to allow them to heal is to forgive. And they need to forgive three people. Number one, they need to forgive their parents. Why? It doesn't matter if they abandoned you, if they abused you, they didn't like you, they hit you, whatever they did to you, they did the best they could to give you the best you have. Number two, you need to forgive your inner child. Why? Because whatever happened in your childhood wasn't your fault. Whatever happened in your childhood, you was scared, you was afraid. Nobody could hear you, you was afraid to tell anybody. So you need to forget that kid inside of you. And I always said, whatever happened in your childhood was not your fault. But as an adult, it's your responsibility to take care and heal yourself. So that's number two. Number three is you need to forgive all the people that came to your life to harm you. Why? When you forgive your parents, your inner child, and the people that came to harm you, you're not forgiving them, you're forgiving yourself. In that moment, you open your heart and you throw away all the hate, all the resentment, and all the poison that been eating you for years that later become cancer and later become any other sicknesses. Because I believe resentment get in your body and that start eating you. If you don't forgive, that's why it's getting inside. Even if you forget what happened to you, that is going to start acting later in your life. So it's better that you heal that part of you and let it go. And then Jesus said, like, when you forgive, then you open your heart, throw that away. And from that moment, you start living your purpose. And what is your purpose? I give everybody a purpose on earth. Nobody came here for nothing. The number one purpose is you know what it is because it's the only thing that you do that nobody does like you. Maybe you sing amazing, maybe you cook amazing, maybe you dance amazing, maybe you're an amazing swimmer. You name it, you know what you're good with. If you don't want to do that, the second purpose is called service. Why service? Because when you die, you're not going to take your house, your cars, your titles, your money. Look, Steve Jobs. Did he took all the billions that he have? No, he didn't took anything. And in his deathbed, he was realizing what was to be a human being. He should help more people. He should do more. And that's what Jesus told me. The only thing that is going to make you feel better is service. Look, Mother Teresa of Calcutta, Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Princess Diana, Martin Luther King, what they did was service. And their service continued until today. Now, I ask you, people that is listening to this program, what are you doing today to leave a legacy and a blueprint on this world of your life? You can go and feed the homeless on the weekend or help your neighbor or help somebody in your family. Do something, a grain of sand that's going to change somebody's life. Maybe you're going to be the light that somebody's looking in the dark. And that's how my story ends. Just give your heart away, give your purpose away, and be the best version of yourself for everyone. And that's my story.
It's amazing.
Beautiful. I've done a lot of traveling and I've minimized what I own. And the only trinket that I have hung on to is a sculpture of a dolphin.
Really?
Why is
What's
that? Why is
I don't know. I feel like a dolphin is peaceful and graceful.
that is so funny.
I have a miracle with a dolphin. Let me tell you what happened. Yes, the dolphin story was just the beginning of a lot of miracles. I wasn't ready for all that was coming after this. So one day in the morning, I heard like the voice of God saying, "You need to go to the beach, to the beach. You need to go." It was 5 a.m. on Saturday morning, and I heard this voice, "You need to go to the beach." And it didn't let me sleep. I was like, "Oh my God." Okay, I have to drive it 6 hours to go to the beach. Like, it's not around the corner. I said, you need to go to the beach. I said, okay. So I wake up, I open my laptop, I start looking for a hotel, and this hotel is like flashing, oh, offer like this weekend on the beach for $100. I was like, oh my God, super cheap to be on the beach. I was like, okay. So I grabbed the hotel. I didn't even look at the hotel. Just saying that in front of the beach, that was it for me. So I traveled this is 5, 6 hours to Panama City. Like I said, I don't know anything about this hotel. And when I'm parking, when I finally arrived to the hotel that I'm parking, I started fixing my mirror, and my mirror, like the center of the car. And when I center the mirror, I see a dolphin reflecting on the mirror. I was like, a dolphin? So when I looked behind me, was what was in front of the hotel. It was a dolphin aquarium. I was like, what? So I just, before I check in on the hotel, I need to see this. I never see it before. So I close my car and I cross the street and I get into this aquarium and I say, excuse me, can I see the dolphins? I'm sorry, we're closing right now. But if you want to buy tickets for tomorrow at 9 a.m., I said, sure. Can I buy it right now? I said, sure. So I bought the tickets and the lady, by the way, we have an offer right now. If you can swim with the dolphins, it's half a price because it was January and it's really cold. Nobody wants to get into the water, so we're giving this sale and blah blah blah. And it come with pictures, videos, and everything. Oh yeah, let's do it. So I did it. Next morning, I wake up. I was super excited. Oh my God, I'm gonna swim with the dolphin. I go to this park. When I get there, I get my ticket, and the lady said, "Okay, now let me explain you something. You are not going by yourself in this swimming pool with the dolphin. A trainer is gonna be with you, but a group of people is gonna be with you. We go by." I said, "Okay." And then she said, I need you to go to this room, change with a suit that we're going to give you to go into the water with this dolphin. So I put the suit and just wait right here. We're waiting for the next group. So, okay, cool. So I'm waiting 15 minutes, nothing happened. And then the lady come back. So like, look, I don't know what happened, but the group that was coming to your time, everybody canceled. I guess it was a family. So you're going to have to go by yourself with the dolphin. I was like, okay. So she take me to the pool with the trainer and the dolphin, jump into the water. I'm supposed to be like 30 minutes. They give me 15 minutes more. So it was like an hour there with the dolphin. And when I'm swimming with the dolphin, I heard a voice that said, you need to speak with these people and tell them that you need to do your presentation here. I was like, what? Like, I know I don't want to do that. I'm like, yeah, you need to tell these people. I was like, no.
He's telling
Putting me on the spot.
Come on, dolphin.
These people are going to think I'm crazy. Like, no, I'm going to say no. And I heard this and over and over. I said, okay, okay. So I get out of the swimming pool when the 45 minutes passed. And like I said, I have an amazing time. And I tell the trainer, I say, I'm sorry, sweetie. Is there any way that I can speak with your manager? And she's, oh my God, something is wrong. The dolphin is on. No, 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 everything's good. I just need to speak with the general manager. And said, yeah, okay, let me. So they beep it with the radio. I said, okay, bring it to my office. So I go to her office. The trainer bring me to the office. I have to take a shower, change and all that. And then I went to the office. And when I'm entering to the office, the lady's super nice. She's like, Carlos, nice to meet you. Sit down. Is everything okay? Are you okay? Something happened to you? I said, no. Let me ask you a question. I said to her, how old is this center of dolphins? We're about 40 years old. So you're being here for 40 years? I said, yeah. Oh, maybe you hear stories like mine all the time. So I have a story that I was saved by a dolphin and a riptide. I said, what? I said, I never heard nobody being saved by a riptide with a dolphin. I said, really? And you're being here 40 years? I said, yeah.
It's pretty common.
I thought it was common. And then the lady said, but can I help you with something there? I said, yeah, you have the aquarium. This is a perfect setup for me to present my book. I don't know if you're going to let me. My story is a Christian story about Jesus, that he showed up and how Jesus represented the dolphin. And she said, she looked at me and she said, Carlos, we're all Christians here at the aquarium, and we will love to have you here to do your presentation. So for me, that means the world. So that was one of the amazing miracles that happened to me there. What I want to tell you is every person every day have miracles in front of them, but you don't see it because you are so busy. But in my book, I start telling you, start watching outside when you come to your house because we're in autopilot. So we don't know what's going on around us because we're always focused going to work, come back. If you start looking the miracle of nature, the miracle of the new day, the sunrise, the sunsets, the birds, the trees around in every like fall, spring, It's beautiful. It's beautiful just to look outside. But like I said, after the dolphin, a lot of stuff happened to me. 3 years and a half ago, around 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, it was raining outside and it was thundering. I was in the middle of my dream. I was dreaming. And then I heard this thunder, but I felt the thunder came through my house. So I see the whole house turning blue inside of my house. I was sleeping. So imagine with your eyes closed that everything turned blue. So I opened my eyes and I heard, and then I listened to this voice. It was like a thunder voice. And the thunder voice said, I want the name of your book. You're going to write a book, and the name of your book is going to be Help from Heaven. I was like, what? So I jump on my bed thinking somebody just breaking in my house. And I started turning the lights like, who's there? Who's there? So I started running back and forth everywhere, checking the windows, checking the doors everywhere. And no, nobody was at home. So it's like Help from Heaven. What? So I open my computer and I Google, and I encourage you to do it. Just put on the search, Google, Help from Heaven. Click search and look where it's going to come here. So where it's going to show up is a video by a singer called Matt Riemann. He's a very famous Christian music from the UK. So when I see this video, it's a Help from Heaven video. So I play. Oh my God. Since the video started, I start crying. He almost told my story. It's a song. So he's saying like where you're drowning in the ocean and you need to be safe. When a person need to watch your whole life and become renewed, that's when the hands of God grab you and take you with the help from heaven. You kidding me? So that was like unbelievable. And every time that I heard that song, I got goosebumps all over me. So I encourage you to grab that song. It's called Help from Heaven. Miracles happen when you believe.
Wow.
It's really amazing. Another thing that I forgot to tell you. So for this painting, that's Thomas Black chair, it came with the story. So when I get home from church, and I didn't tell you that part, I said, I never see that painting before. So I Googled Jesus hugging a guy, and that painting show up, right? And it come with the story, a real life story. And what is the story? This guy that is a really famous painting, Thomas Black chair, he said he started doing fasting for 2 weeks. You know, fasting, don't eat. Just he was doing a water fasting for 2 weeks because he wanted to be a clear channel to paint, to do this painting. When he was doing the painting, he heard the voice of the Holy Spirit saying, I want you to write a book about this painting because you need to explain people what is the meaning of this painting. And then guess what? He finished the painting and he wrote the book. And this is the book. It's called Forgiven by Thomas Black chair. And in this book, he explained part by part every part of the painting. So that was really amazing. When I saw that, I was like, wow, so this was a sign for me.
I don't know if you realize, but while you were telling the story that you were talking inside of this church and the woman stood up, that you said, and she took a moment, she moved her hair to the side, and I think that she had the same vision. At that very moment, even though we had a clear sky, we had lightning and thunder at that very second.
It was so out of the blue. I thought it was on your end.
I thought this guy is so professional. He's got sound effects.
I know. I was like, what? It doesn't even look rainy outside.
No, that happened too. I'm gonna send you a picture. A lady was interviewing me like 2 months ago from UK, and she lived in an island in UK. And we were talking about how God manifests, and out of the blue, and she was in her room. The sun started lighting the whole room, and the light was getting her like blind, and you can see the light coming through the screen. And she's like, oh, what the fuck is going on? And she took pictures. I took pictures, and I looked. 2 pictures of people asked. You can show them what's going on.
While she was interviewing you through the Zoom or something?
Yes.
And it happened to...
Yeah, it was in the middle of the afternoon. She said in UK it was like a 5, but like the sun started brightening so much they illuminate the whole room and the whole computer. You can see the rays of the light going through the computer.
In our last interview, I edited the interview and I put it out, and then people were noticing that same thing was happening, that the light was moving in the video. And I looked back at it and I saw it then. I did not see it during the interview. I did not see it during editing. And then I'm looking back and I'm like, Wow, it's a crazy thing.
Yeah, it was like light was coming on his death. It was just like,
Moving around.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was very.
What? This happened a lot with near-death experiences. So when people come back, they come back with stuff.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
with, yeah. So what I come back with was I can feel the energy. So if I'm going to a house of somebody that prays a lot, when they open the door, I feel a wave like a gel that come all over me like a warm gel. And I know these people pray, so I asked them, "Excuse me, would you pray a lot?" "Oh my God, how do you know?" I said, "Because I just felt it. I can feel the protection that you have around you. It just hit me." And when I go to a house and the people is 80 or 90 years old, in my last job, I used to visit like 5 families a day. So I used to tell when people was really, let me tell you a story. So when I was going to a very old person, I don't know why, but every time that I finished and I was walking to my car, I felt like wave of energy coming down, like all over my body. Thank you. I felt like it was a thank you to tell this person that is 90 years old at the end of their life to listen this, because that is, you don't know how many houses I entered that I told my story and the customer said, "You know what? Forget about the problem that I have with your company. You
You got the
real
best
life
rating at
give
work.
me this story when I need it." Like, this is not about the issue what happened. This is about my life have to change because your story touched my heart. And I've been doing it wrong. And now I can see clear what are you meaning with service and helping others.
That's beautiful.
And that's another point that I want to tell you guys. It's 2020. I started helping an organization. It's called Food for Lives. It's one of the biggest organizations all over the world. I'm going to send you the link. But here in Atlanta, we serve between 300, 500 meals a day, mostly on Saturdays and Sundays. That help a lot of people. It's not just give the food, it's talk to them. Because believe it or not, a lot of homeless on the streets here in the US, they're engineers, they're teachers, there's people that went to a really dramatic moment in their life and they prefer just go to the streets and forget about everything. But if you hear the stories of these people, you won't believe it. How you went to the streets and these people want to be heard. Sometimes you're walking on the street and you're just trying to ignore them. When we go on the weekends, we give the food and we talk to them. "Hey, how you doing? How was your week? Do you need anything extra?" We bring food, we bring clothes. This is something that's going to fill up your soul. How many actors from Hollywood that they receive all the money in the world and at the end they say it's not about the money. I wish everybody were rich and famous and have all the money in the world to know that's not the answer. The answer is helping others. That's why we're here, to learn lessons and to help others to go through this world. My publisher, when I was doing my book, and this is my book right here, Out from Heaven, they asked me to make a Facebook group to put people in contact with me. So I did. So my group is called Beyond Near Death Experiences. I started this group super scared because I've never done a group before. The group has been growing so much. I have 42,000 people right now in my group.
I'm a member.
I have, well, yeah. I have a web page. It's called www.org. And right now, I'm getting done another page with my name. It's going to be www.carlosvivas.org. So that's going to be my main page. But you can contact me by website. You have an email that you can send me through there, or on Facebook through Messenger in my group. You can send me a message. You can contact me there.
I was wondering, it took when the pandemic was important till the time that you had the experience where you almost drowned. Did you share anything about how you were healed like that between those two? No. So I think you were being a little stubborn. You had to have sign up.
I was super scared to share this. Listen to what happened to me. So when this near-death experience happened to me, I didn't know who to ask. What happened to me? I was afraid. I was like, so I started asking my sister, my dad. I was like, okay, let me go to church. So I started going to churches. And the priest was like, we don't talk about that. And then everybody started, and I was like, okay, there's something there hiding behind this near-death experience. I need to know what's going on here. So let me Google this. Maybe somebody in any country in the world happened to have this. I didn't know it was near-death experience name. So when I Google it, millions of people all over the world have near-death experience. Here in the US, 1 in every 10 people have near-death experiences. If you go to a party, try this. Go to a party that is 100 people and say, Raise your hands if you have ever had a near-death experience, and just watch how many people is gonna raise their hand. And then you ask, like, how many people you have tell your story. Everybody put their hands down because they're afraid to be criticized because what happened or what they saw during the near death. And every near death is different. My near death was transformational. It was transformational spiritually. I didn't have to die completely to see. Most of the near deaths are out of body experience, but they have different categories on near death experiences.
Yeah, it's good to know that you don't have to officially die to have one. That is awesome.
For me, it was like an awakening. What are you doing with your life? You came to do something else, and it's time to share this. And plus, I did the promise to God. And when I went to him, like, hey, I've been waiting. Like, what happened? 20 years and you still not saying anything.
He
Like,
had to give you a nudge, didn't
Yeah.
he?
Get going, Carlos.
yeah.
I reached out to you like when we first started our channel, and for some reason we couldn't connect with our schedules, and we were really busy with a lot of other things. Luckily, we got you in here. I feel like this is the right time because if we hadn't met with you now, we wouldn't have had the one experience with 3 weeks ago. If we had met with you earlier. So
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, everything happened for a reason. Everything that happened in your life is for your highest good. Remember that. If it's good or bad, it's happening for you to grow spiritually as a better human being. And if you don't learn the lesson, it's going to repeat again with different characters, with different people, but it's going to play again. Even if people come and save you, it doesn't matter. It's going to repeat again until you learn and then you pass that. And how do you stop that? Just saying, like, God, I understand. What you're trying to tell me here is this. What I didn't learn about this relation is this. I got it. You don't have to repeat it. So it doesn't come back again.
yeah, we probably
But I think
repeat
that
a
happened to
lot of
everyone.
things in our lives over and
Yeah.
over because we don't
That's a great.
think about
Yeah.
it. And what can we learn?
There is a lot of people that is going through a lot of stuff right now, even my friends right now, a lot of really hard tests in their life, really hard. And they ask me, like, Carlos, what I should do? And the only answer that I heard is tell them to surrender. As soon as they surrender, they're going to accept whatever it comes. And that's how it happened to me. It could happen to anyone. You just need to surrender and let God take over, the divine take over.
Maybe there's something here in particular, like for people watching, there's certain things they're going to pick up and you'll be like, oh my goodness, this is exactly what I needed to hear right at this moment. And God has an amazing way of putting those things together. And for us too, we come away, we're like, we may not have the realization exactly in that moment, and we have it later, and we're like, wow, that's exactly what I needed to hear. And now I understand.
There was another near-death experiencer that we interviewed that said that when in heaven, they saw the spider web. They saw every connection and how it affected other people, and it was amazing. So yeah, I totally believe that.
All right, we are definitely going to have to book you in the future. There's so many other details in just in the things you mentioned.
I have so many stories, bro. I don't know.
And I'm sure you're going to have more stories when we meet again.
Definitely. And remember, ask, knock, and look for it. You will
love it.
find.
Love
Believe
it.
me.
You are just beaming with beautiful, positive energy, brother. And it's
Thank
really a pleasure to spend this time with you.
Yeah, you
Thank
touched so many lives with your story.
Thanks to you guys. For you, you're opening this channel to share this with the world. So people is going to listen to your stories. And like I said, you're brightening on my screen here. So it is a purpose for you to do this.
Thank
believe
you.
me. Later in life, you're going to understand that. Oh, that's why we have the podcast. And that's why we're doing this. You're part of the souls that are awakening this planet. They're awakening on Earth right now. The great awakening. So thank you from the
you.
bottom of my soul
Thank you,
for
brother.
doing that.
Have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. You too, guys.
Okay. Bye-bye.
See you around. Take care.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this amazing interview we have with Carlos Vivas. We love finding these amazing stories and sharing them with you. If this resonates with you, please let us know. Leave us comments. Give us feedback. If you're enjoying it, please like your videos. Please subscribe.
These interviews touch our soul, and I believe that if you feel touched by this and enlightened by this, you'd love to subscribe. We'd love to have.
Thank you so much. Take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.